Pleasant good evening. Greetings to you all. Welcome to the Big Sky. Okay. Internet. Are we good? Why is it pausing? Hello, everyone. A pleasant good evening to you all. Welcome to the Sky. Oh, okay. Hey, everyone. A pleasant good evening to you all. Welcome to the Big Sky, where we get to explore the unlimited possibilities of aviation. And I go by the name Isaac Yami, and I'm the host for the show. And good Tuesday, like promised, we always come back as a whole. So today I'm very quite excited because someone so I'm quite excited. I always host with my co. So I'm gonna ask Michelle.
Hi everyone. Hi Isaac. How are you?
How are you doing? I'm
I'm good.
great.
I'm good.
For some reasons, for some reason, my internet is hating today. So I just want to put it out there.
Don't worry, guys.
So
If he
like,
leaves, I'll
I saw
take over
internet
from
hating.
here.
Awesome.
I'll,
So without
I'll take over for you.
wasting much of our time, let's
Sorry.
who's going to join us today? I'm like, who's joining us today?
Yes.
Do you want to tell our viewers
Okay,
who's joining
guys.
us?
Today we have someone who is very inspirational, and when I got to know about her, it was amazing. Today we have someone from Ghana. Her name is Audrey Swatson. She is Ghana's youngest commercial female pilot, and she earned her wings in April 2016. And she is currently, right now, flying with Passion Air as first captain. So I would really want you guys to join us today and listen to her inspirational story. So let's get her here so we can start.
Drum roll.
Hi.
Hi, Audrey.
Hi, Audrey.
Hi, Isaac. Hi, Michelle.
How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Great. I'm very quite excited
Same.
to meet you today. And we're carrying on from last week. We had one of the youngest Zimbabwean as well pilot, and today we
Ah,
have a Ghanaian. So it's
ah,
interesting. It's like we're keeping on and discovering all these germs of people. It's such an amazing opportunity.
right.
So let's just in right in. How old are you and how is this happening? How qualified in? Yeah, take us through that. Your qualifications.
Um, I don't know where to start, but then I I have a commercial pilot license. I first got it from South Africa, And when I got to Ghana, I converted it to my country's license. So yeah, that's what I have. It comes with
Oh,
multi-engine rating and then instrument flying. So yes.
That's pretty
well,
cool.
I think
That's pretty nice.
remember is flying from last.
Please say again.
I'm like I remember instrumental flying from last week's guest. So I'm getting. I'm not
Ah,
an aviation person,
He's
so
not an
I'm picking
aviation
things,
person,
and I'm
so
happy that
he's
ah.
learning to
I'm.
our guest.
Oh, nice. Nice it. Right.
So, hey Audrey, how are you? Um,
I'm have you.
so, as I mentioned in your introduction, that you work for Passionaire, right, as first captain,
Yeah.
right? So, how did you
As
end
a
up
first
there?
officer.
First officer. Okay. How did you end up
Right.
working for them?
Right. When I was done with my training from South Africa, December 2019. No, 2018. I got home 2018 and I came home to Ghana January 2019 and they were recruiting. So I thought I could try my first. So I thought I could try my first job interview, and then that's how I got it. Yeah.
That's pretty. You got your wings in 2016, right?
Yeah. My solo flight and then my PPO. Yes.
Pretty awesome.
Thank you, Michelle.
Um, I'm wondering where did this pilot idea come from? I'm like how did you start? Like, why did you want to become a pilot, and where did the inspiration come from?
Inspiration. Maybe I wanted to be different. Like growing up, everybody wanted to be a doctor or an engineer, lawyer, and I didn't want to be in a group. So just me. And before I decided to become a pilot, like just out of thinking, I wanted to be a track star because that was my talent. I could I could easily, run in the field like to race or to play soccer. So I thought I wanted to represent my country. So with let me do something to represent my country. I thought maybe I could run, but then I didn't know how long I was going to run to represent my country. So I thought, oh, maybe flying would do because I've not heard of any woman flying at the time. So yeah, this is me doing it for my country. And then yeah, so many years later on, this is it.
You sound someone who's so
Oh, it's an
patriotic.
interesting. Is it?
Please say again, Michelle.
I'm saying you sound someone who's so patriotic and like going for
Not
my
anymore.
country and not anymore.
No. No, not anymore. When I was small, it
You're
was really
allowed.
nice because you see people celebrating people. Growing up, it's people are just proud of you, and that's about it. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I mean, on a personal note, how does it feel like being the youngest commercial pilot? I mean, if somebody asked you like how does it feel like to be the youngest in your country, what would you say about that?
Uh, in the beginning, it was really cool because I think I'd seen it coming before it happened, before it was announced. So it's like I'd lived that moment before it was actually announced. And in the beginning, it was really cool. But now it's more of a responsibility. You can't
Mm,
exactly be in a certain space and be yourself because you now have to behave like a pilot, like all
mm,
proper, prim. Nah, it gets tiring, and I run low on my social battery when I'm in a space where people see me as the youngest female pilot. So it's more of a responsibility, and if you have to learn something, people expect you to get it like this. But before I got it, I used to make mistakes. Like when people didn't know me, I used to make
yeah, I
mistakes
understand.
before I became perfect. But now they expect you to really perform at a very high standard. So it's a lot of responsibility.
They
Yeah.
expect you to be this error-free pilot, and then
Right.
yeah, and then
Uh-huh.
being a woman, they expect you to be having this composure all the time and being this perfect person.
Exactly.
I understand. Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't want it. So it's a lot of responsibility. Yeah.
Mm,
How,
I,
how, how did you two now make it a woman thing? But I think it goes into the next question that I have. Like the social pressures in terms of you mentioned something about how you're expected to be perfect and then you made so many mistakes. So like how did it feel when you were starting, like knowing that you're the youngest, and at any point did it like derail you from focusing, or every single time it was like a motivating thing for you that you were the youngest, so that means let me just prove them wrong or this and that? Like how did you manage that, the pressures?
I'll say I'm still managing that because I wish I knew what I know now before. Because in the beginning, just being the youngest, you get treated like the little sister. It wasn't
mm,
exactly as good as people in the same range doing the same thing. And the mistake I do, like the backlash on somebody who is older, is different if you get it. So yeah, I wish I didn't exactly care. I didn't have an I don't care attitude in the beginning, because in the what I know now, I used to feel timid because like I'm amongst elderly people, and culture again also. So it's like, oh, what is
mm,
it? Yes, I wish I knew that I could just be myself and not compare my race to other people. If you get it, people have different pressures. I'm not about to
yes.
compare my age and probably where I am in my career field to somebody who is older, and then we're in the same space. So no.
Wow, that's interesting. Michelle, before we move on, I remember that we forgot to mention today's question. And then last week I didn't mention the answer for the previous week, I think. And the question was something to do with the world's first lowest cost airline, and the answer is the
Okay.
Southwest Airlines. And you can go on, and then I'll introduce this week's question as we move on. Yeah.
Okay. So, Audrey, let's like move into your educational part. I mean, as our Flight Wings Aviation, we're an educational consultant agency as well. And the first thing when people who want to become pilots, they come to us and they're like, it's so expensive. How do we get scholarships? The funding issues and all that. So you being yourself a pilot, and I understand like it's expensive for everyone. Nobody can just come and say it's not expensive. So I want to know like, how did you find like these flight schools, and how did you go through like the funding process and scholarships?
Mm, right. About funding flight training, it was paid by my parents, and these are people who have always known that I wanted to become a pilot since age 9. So to them, this was me knowing after I went through flight school that they were saving and investing for it, just in case. Um, they'll save for it, but if I don't do it, they keep the difference to themselves. And if I do it, the reason shouldn't be that there's no money to pursue my dreams. So that was part of the planning since age 9, and I started training at 18. So that was how much, like that was that long to save, invest, like grow the money and all of that. And yeah, that was about it through flight training. So we have basic school in my country. It's like 9 years, and you start at age 4. Then after you have, you can do the local syllabus, which is 3 years. I think metric, like the O level, A level. Yeah. In
Yes.
Ghana, we call
Yes.
it WASI. Yeah.
Okay.
In Ghana, we call it WASI. It's for 3 years. And you can choose to study science or visual arts or like whatever it is, like general arts even. So I studied science for 3 years. but I didn't do biology. I did geography. So the 9 years in basic school, and then the 3 years in my secondary school, before I wrote the final examination, to motivate me to study hard and pass my examinations, my daddy made me go to South Africa for flight school, like to look for which schools I'll go next and what. And to him, South Africa, because the exchange rate between Ghana cedis and the South African rands was good for him, if I should put it. And
Okay.
again, it's closer to home, and it wasn't easy. It's easy to get visitors visa to come to South Africa if I have to compare to the US or Canada.
Of
So a
course.
year before my final examinations, we went to South Africa and we moved from school to school. It was not really a vacation because we were there for a purpose, to find which school like we could join after my final examinations. So this was us moving from school to school, taking school flight quotations and all. And then yeah, we found one that the staffs were really cordial with us, and they were open up about the payment plan, in that we don't have to pay all at a time to start. You pay as
Right.
it as you go, like how we use our mobile airtime. So if you need more, then you have to top up. So it was like quite okay for my parents to, like take me through flight training right after my WASI education. So coming back, it motivated me to study hard, pass my examinations. Not that I needed those results to go into flight school, but just so that if I have to come back to Ghana or continue my education outside flying, I would be able to build up with those results. So that was how it was funded, and that's how we found the school. Yep.
Mm. I
Wow.
did read I did read that about in one of your article that you mentioned that at the
Oh,
age of, yeah, I read an article about you, and it said you mentioned that you were sure at the age of 9, like you wanted to be a pilot, and it's amazing
yeah.
that your parents took you seriously and they started saving up for you. I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, kudos to your parents, really. I mean, to understand that it's not just a dream, and that you actually did want to become a pilot in the future.
Right.
That's really good.
Yeah,
Thank
talk about amazing parenting, listening to that, it's actually something that we all ought to do. Like, sometimes people say that in an African household, most of the time dreams just die because people killed them, not because of failure. So I'm glad that your parents had your back, and I'm glad that you end up, like, they realized it at a younger age, and they worked their way up to making sure that the provision is given.
right.
So I was also looking into the fact that you also were awarded a sponsored attendance to a conference in the USA. Take me through that.
Right. Right.
Like, how did that happen,
So
and
right.
how was the experience?
Mm. At the time where when I saw that the scholarship, it was like tomorrow is the deadline, and then my friend is only telling me today. So I called a few friends of mine that, hey, let's put an essay together, telling them why I should be chosen. And it was a big task. And it was by the Women in Aviation International, USA. And you had to be part of the of that organization to have access to such scholarship. So I just signed up there, and then just giving it a chance that if I get it, fine. If I don't, I'm still part of them. And yeah, I wrote an essay as to why I should be chosen to have the experience of the Women in Aviation International, and that was 2017. Yes. So I think the following week, I just get an email from these people. I thought it was come to say like no, because after that week, I got busy with training, so I it had escaped me a bit. And then when I saw the message, I was just screaming. Like there were people around, and then I'm like, no, stop it! Like I was so excited because I wasn't exactly expecting it, even though I wanted it. And then for the few days I'll be dancing. I'm going to the US. I'm going to the US, especially when I'm not pay for it. And yeah, so it was by the Abingdon scholarship, Abingdon Co scholarship, and she owns a watch company for aviators, so she sponsored it with her husband, from
Oh,
visa to flight ticket to
Oh,
accommodation, feeding, upkeep, and then also touring some parts of the United States, and then back again to South Africa. And the experience exposed me to meeting other female pilots. At the time, I had my private pilot license, so it really added up to the motivation for me to go to
how
flight
long was
school.
it? How long was the conference?
It was 3 days.
oh,
Ah,
Yeah, it was 3 days, but I spent like 5 days there because they also wanted to show me around. So I got a lot of like contacts from big women in the industry, people who had spoken, and the conference was such a way that if you wanted to know about maybe military flying, there's a classroom for it. If you want to know about civilian flying, there's a classroom for it. Not a classroom, like a mini conference for it. And if you wanted to, like, there were many sub things under the conference, and then people narrating their stories to us, how they started and maybe their pitfalls. There wasn't money at a point, they left it for 10 years, and then they said they came to continue. Maybe childbirth came up their way, and for the first time I didn't think that I would see up close a woman in aviation talking about maybe childbirth and how they did it and all. So I got a lot of answers about that from there. And if and at first CPO was very difficult for me. So when I came home, I was telling my daddy that, hey, I have to go and join maybe Ghana Air Force, because apparently they just needed a PPL and then like they will build you up as a military pilot. But when I mentioned it to a friend, he was like, do I want to be the pilot flying for maybe 20 years and I have about 300 hours? I'm like, I don't want that. So I had to go back to flight school. But otherwise, the conference taught me that whenever I want to join the military after my commercial pilot license, I could join. And if I go back to the military and I come back to the civilian, I can also join. And then yeah, there's life outside aviation also. So yeah, that was a good experience for me. Yeah.
I love how you said there's life out of aviation
Oh
also.
yeah, that is.
It's
like
it's
it's
nice.
everything.
It's
Everything goes back.
it's nice to hear a pilot and an aviation person say this. You know what? There's a life outside of that, guys.
Yeah, there is. There is. There is.
I'm like,
Yes,
no, there
So,
isn't. There isn't.
there is. Yeah.
like the pandemic, Audrey,
Uh-huh.
has really affected our industry. Like it just came out of nowhere and it hit us so bad. In
Right.
literally every part of the aviation you can find. So, how did like the COVID, like the pandemic, affected you personally and the aviation industry around you? And that's like when like COVID hit us, which was last year in 2020, right? That's when
Yeah.
we were hit by it. And now that the vaccines are out and people are getting vaccinated, what how was it before when it suddenly hit you? And how do you see the difference now that now it's better and people are getting vaccinated? What are the changes that you see here?
Right. Or when COVID started, I think it started in China. So we had it like it was so far away. And then in
Yeah,
no time, oh, it was so close.
yeah.
And then even when it was that close, we could hear that, oh, people passed on because of COVID. And we didn't know those people. Then later, then sooner, like soon enough, the people, like the numbers started to change to names, and the names started to change to people you know. So that was quite scary. COVID for aviation. I don't know what to say, but personally, I would say COVID. The time COVID came was good, and then the time it was about to go, it's not gone. I think it's about to
It's
go.
not
Like
one.
things are also picking up. Well, when COVID happened, and then we got locked down in my country. Just around that time, I'd lost my daddy. So it was like everything had come to a standstill. And then when COVID started, it was like, okay, there are measures, you can keep distance, maybe wash your hands, those things. It's like, why is everybody going back to normal things when, like, maybe my world is at a standstill? So it's like, at least I got the time not to go to work feeling, breathing and all. And then for the industry at a point, we're not flying. And I really thought, okay, I don't have my daddy, my job is gone, like we are still home. What else? So it's like, whatever happens. But then soon enough, the ban in our country for um for flying, the airspace was opened, So we started flying in about 3 months later, and everybody was happy. Yeah, I really thought that was it. Like, maybe this is it. But now we can really fly. And in the beginning, they used to restrict the numbers on board, like social distancing. But with time and statistics coming up that flying is the safest, even if you are together, because it's like the science they explained to us shows that if you're on board, it's better than being in a car, and like it's safer than being in a car. So yeah, things started to pick up again, and you see more travelers. At first, the airport was so empty. Then you're thinking, like, how is the airline going to, keep up? Because we burning fuel, and it costs much. Also, we also have to keep the staff paid and all. So yeah, I think we've gone back to normal. Yeah, if at all, we even fly more than COVID times. I think so. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, I did read about your dad also in the article. So I'm so sorry about that.
that's okay.
You mentioned that he was your number one cheerleader, according to you.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. And then with the pandemic, it must have been really difficult for you to handle so much stress.
Yeah, I'm also sorry to hear that as well.
That's
But
okay, Isaac.
I'm glad you picked yourself up as well,
Yeah,
and
you're a strong woman. Oh my God, you're
No
amazing.
choice.
so when we look at aviation itself, like
Uh-huh.
it's a male dominated industry pretty much, and you were bold enough to put your foot into the industry. And like what's your thought on the industry itself? Is it going to evolve, especially for women? Like you're one of the pioneers of this. Like, where do you think the future of aviation is going for women, especially?
You're right. It's male dominated, yes, but the challenges that come to us also go for the males. If at all, I would say the male colleagues, like they support you. Well, majority of them, they are a handful that really wish that you are not in the space, and they sometimes doubt your skills just because of who you are as a woman and who you are outside work. If you get it, so yeah.
Who are
But
you
no,
outside work? I'm like,
oh, not me personally. No, Isaac, not me personally. But like, you know how they expect you to still be professional and be prim and proper, to be at a certain standards even outside your uniform. So yeah, it's like, hey, please, I come to work. Let me do my work. When I go home, let me be who I want to be. Yeah, and yeah, for women, a lot of people have also taken upon themselves to like to encourage young girls growing up as well. And apparently, there are a lot of statistics show that more women are being birthed than male. So we hope to bridge the gap somehow. And there are lots of scholarship schemes for women, only women. So with all of that, yeah, I think we'll get there. But it's really slow. Oh, it's really slow because in my country, I can mention by name every female pilot. And no, we need more. We need more people. So I'm like, oh, there's this other one. This. No, I can mention by name all the female pilots. So we need more women in the industry. It's not difficult, I think.
So, staying on the topic of
When
like
she said
this
like
gender
it's only
difference that we see,
Right.
like Isaac asked you, like it's such a male dominated. So, like being like professionally, I understand that there's a gap, there's a gender gap in pilots, right? Like
Right.
in your country, as you said, there are less women. It's the same in my country as well. So, do you see like is the gender gap also like is there like a gender wage gap as well? Have you noticed it?
Oh no, I haven't, and I doubt if there's anything as that. No, if there actually is, no, I doubt it. I doubt it. I think they pay everybody, no matter your gender. Since now we have more than two genders, no matter your gender, like they pay you by position, not by gender. If you get it,
Okay.
yeah. So that's what it is.
captain. That's good that it has nothing to do with your gender, rather it's your qualification. And as
Right.
Yeah.
as we reach the middle of the show, I promise that we're going to mention today's question. And
Mm-hmm.
today's question goes by: name the passenger aircraft that traveled at a speed more than, is that March 2?
Mac.
Mark two.
And name the
Mac
two
2.
airline Mac 2, and name the two airlines to only the aircraft type. So I think these are three answers that we need.
Oh, and who's it
Yeah.
for?
So, um, sorry.
Who's the question for?
The question is for
For
the
the viewer,
audience.
for the audience.
Ah,
It's for the audience.
alright.
Don't answer, Audrey.
I don't even know it.
And
No.
whoever gets it
Oh,
correctly gets have a promo code for our courses. Flight Wings Aviation, we have courses. So basically, this is like a kickstart for you to move in the right direction in terms of aviation. So anyone who gets this question correct, we'll give you a free period where you can access our courses for free. So if you're watching and you didn't know that Fly Wings Aviation is a consulting company, basically everything aviation in terms of we provide consultancy in lining you up with the right people, in lining you up with everything you need to know about aviation. So basically, that's who we are. And it seems as if someone already answered the question. Wow, the people are smart out there. So I'll review the person later on. Yeah, in our comment section already, someone did answer the question, so that's great.
Wow.
And then at this point, also I want to shout out to people who are watching us. There is Anas Mittaf. There is Farid. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions as well, just drop them in the comment section. If you have questions specifically for Dre, that would be great so that we can have engagement, because that's what we believe in, and that's the reason why we're doing this. So yes, so that was the question that I promised, and then already there's an answer. But then yeah, you might be a second one. We might be so generous that we can actually give so many people. So keep on, writing in the comment section. You never really know. Yes. So so you mentioned something about, like, I like the fact that you when Michelle asked something to do with the wage gap and everything, and then it's all about the rankings and everything. So my question follow up, you basically answered it when I spoke about how it is to be in a male dominated industry. So
mm-hmm.
my basic question is, what are you personally doing to encourage women to be part of aviation personally? What are you doing, like, personally, yourself as Audrey?
Right. I'll say the first one, which is easier, is to avail myself to to join other people's projects in inspiring women. So, oh, can you do this? Like, oh, okay. But then my schedule is like this, and my schedule really changes. So if it doesn't end up happening,
She's
it's
a
not
busy
me,
woman.
because otherwise I would want to do it.
Do you have a
Yeah.
personal assistant?
No, 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 no. It's just me. It's like, what's this again? Oh my god, now I'm tired. Yeah, same questions, but it differs. The audience differ, and then the person asking you is like, oh, okay, just maybe, yeah. And again, we set up a club in my country called Ladybirds.
Oh,
It's more the module is more like the women in aviation because that's where I got impacted and that's what I've been exposed to. So I'm doing something like that in my country. Another one will be Pegasus Aviation. A colleague of mine owns a flight school in Ghana, and then yeah, so it's like I joined him to add up to the movement and inspiring both boys and girls. So that one is not just for girls, but it's for both. So yeah, that's about it. Otherwise, yeah, if people want us to do things together, I avail myself, and then we do it.
wow. I typed your name on YouTube for obvious reasons because I really what am I gonna meet today?
Isaac.
And I noticed there's a lot of you in so many things, like there's so many you I could see and how you were engaging with people and everything. And I'm like, you're quite a bubbly person, and it's great to have people succeed and still be reachable, because that's another thing, because imagine you're successful, but then people can't reach you to you,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it becomes demotivating. So I'm really glad that you're taking that initiative as well. And also on that line, like what kind of encouragement do you have for boys and girls who are thinking about flying? You were 9 years old. Think about it. Like, what can you tell a 9-year old right now about who has the idea somehow that they want to fly at some point?
Uh,
Like, what kind of encouragement will you give them?
I'll say, what will I say? Yeah, if you want to do it, yeah, you should do it. And as to how it's going to be done, you just have to leave it for the future. You can't be arranging what you do in the next minute or like the next 1 hour. I want to be a pilot, and that's about it. As to how soon it happens, how it happens, where, I think the universe will bring it to you. It may be delayed, but then eventually, like it would happen. Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
That's how I say
it's
to
never
9 year olds.
they say
Yeah,
they say destiny is never denied, but it could be delayed. I think I'm getting it right. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Michelle, um,
Okay.
take over, take over. I know. You've been telling me
Yes.
that you have so many questions and there are these things
Yay.
that you want to ask her. So at this very point, I'm going to ask Michelle to take over. And yeah,
Okay.
she has a segment that she really wants to know, and because she's been looking through and she kind of researched and she's excited. So shoot away.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because I want people to know because it's amazing. I mean, you're young, we're young, and it's our job, as you said, it's our duty, it's our responsibility to help others as well. That's why we do what we do. So people can find a way,
Right.
find that guidance that we can provide. Okay, so I have a couple of questions that I actually read from the articles that were published about you, like news and all of that. Something was really interesting which caught my eye. In an article, you said that, and by the way, this article was Those Who Inspire in a magazine. That's where your article was published.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, so I read about it, and I read that you said specifically that you said that you would see your male colleagues like land aircraft so easily, and that your instructor would tell you that because you're a woman and it will take time for you.
Ah.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
if somebody told me that, I would lose the confidence. So I want to know, like, how did you feel? Like suddenly, like, imagine your instructor is the one is saying, yeah, because you're a woman, that's why you're not able to land the plane as easily as men do. So what did you feel, and how did you cope up with that? Um,
Right. Uh, I cried about it. when you're training, you sit in the left seat, and then the instructor is on the right. So when he said it, I felt disheartened, and I looked to like to my window, and like let the tears drop. But then I clean it up this way and continue to fly. And maybe I'm like, hey, I'm not feeling well. I feel like throwing up, but I'm fine. Just so that the lesson ends, and then that's about it. And then we try again. We try again. It's like, this is better. This is better. Then maybe he'll bring up stories about how maybe his male students could not do something like, aha. And then I sometimes pass a comment that sometimes, when you're learning, some of the challenges are like, please, maybe like in terms of the wind, it's really hot. You're trying to maintain, and the aircraft to not stay there, like as a student. But when your confidence starts to grow, if you want the aircraft to stay at, like, to stay there, it stays there. Like, you put it there. You don't just wish that the aircraft to move there. So yeah, so it built my confidence when every time I kept going, he's like, oh, like, you're doing it better, you're doing it better. But he had said that in a jovial way. But it got me at that point when I was feeling down that, when am I going to be able to safely land the aircraft? So yeah.
Also, after that, yes, the confidence thing, I read about that as well, that you said that it was just about your confidence. That's the reason why you were able to do what you were able to do. So
Mm.
later on, also, I really like this story that you talked about. I don't know, I'm sure you remember the miner story, a story
Oh
of the
yes,
miner.
right. Um,
Yes. So I want to know, like, of course, somebody would have told you this story. I want to know about the background, like, just three more feet. I really like that story.
oh, thank you so much. It's a story that I've always heard from my daddy growing up. He also heard it from his daddy, so my daddy's daddy. And I don't know. So now when I say like 3 feet more to go, it's like, okay, that's the story. You don't know when you're close to your finishing end. Oh, and for those who've not read the story is about a big mining company. They had tested the land that, okay, they could find gold here, but then they dug so many feet into it and still nothing. But they didn't know that maybe like 3 feet more to they see the gold, so they left it. And then one of the laborers who was working with this big mine was like, you buy it. And then they sold it to him at a very cheap price because they thought it didn't have any worth. So this person
Right.
was and employed other laborers. So they kept it again. And then only 3 feet more, like, they saw it. And this was somebody who had been digging with the big company right from the top, like maybe so many feet up until that point. So anytime I feel that way, I'm like 3 feet more, 3 feet more. So even if I have 1,000 to go, 1,000 divided by three, I'll keep doing it like that. So
That's awesome. I think
And she's still there.
I don't know. She's still here.
Yeah, I think her internet went a bit. Yes, but as we wait for her, I just want to say thank you to people who have joined us as well. It's humbling. It's a humbling thing that people are joining us. If you haven't liked, subscribe to the channel. Please do subscribe. Share with your friends. Um, Flight Wings Aviation. We are there to inspire, equip, and empower, and we have various things. We have consultations, we have courses, and like Michelle, do you want to like go through what someone
Yes,
can expect in?
I was just waiting for that. I didn't want to interrupt you in the middle. So guys, as people who've been watching our talk show every week, thank you so much again. And I would want, as anybody who knows me and who's following our page right now, I'm acting as a marketing manager and a mentor. And please follow Flight Wings Aviation if you have a passion for aviation. If you can't find any kind of guidelines or pathway or any help you need regarding your you're somebody in high school and you want to be a cabin crew person, a ground handling person, or a pilot, or aeronautical engineer, whatever, any part of aviation industry you aim to become, please come to us. We are here to help you out. We, as aviation people ourselves, want you to achieve it as well. And we have good mentors here who will help you out. And we will help you find the schools that you want to go in according to your planning. So that's what Flight Wings Aviation main aim is, that we want young people to come into the aviation industry and be like people like Audrey and all our previous guests we had, like Captain Els and Amina from Pakistan, Captain Amina, who was the flight instructor. If you come and you got, the main thing is to find the right guideline, and we are here to give you that. And then maybe one day after 4 or 5 years, you will be here and telling your inspirational story with us. So that's what Flight Wings Aviation is. If you're somebody who doesn't know aviation but wants to be a part of the industry, we have a really good course, JAC, which is our Junior Aviation Certificate. And you can come and apply for that. And it gives you the introductory fundamentals about aviation. And then you can use that certificate and move on and decide which aviation part you want to join. So that's what we do. Do follow us, do visit our website. You can contact us. We are here to help you out. So, yeah.
Awesome. And our socials, obviously, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we are on Facebook. So feel free to send us a direct message, obviously, to communicate with us. So I'm waiting for guests to come back. I'm gonna reveal to today's answer to today's question,
Yes, let's
and
see who wrote the answer. I am excited.
the answer is Concorde, British Airways, and
And
Air
airfare.
France. And one of our viewers, Farid, answered it correctly.
Wow.
And that was like so fast, like boom. So
Yes,
thank you so much,
it
Farid.
was not even like 3 minutes and he answered.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that, who knew the answer and he answered. That's great. That's great,
So
guys.
thank you so much, Farid. We'll definitely communicate with you, and then we'll send you the promo code. And yeah, be I'm like I want to say be blessed. Be blessed with the course and everything that the course has in store. So as we wrap up, um, what are your takeaways from today's show?
Yes. So anyways, Audrey, she is a very inspirational person. And as you guys heard, like, she went through a lot of difficulty last year. She lost her dad and everything, but she didn't give up. And that's what happens. Life goes on, and you just need to keep pushing, and you will reach where you want to. But the first, I think you need discipline, and you need discipline and passion to go anywhere. And I think that's what Audrey had, to decide at the age of 9, like she decided to become a pilot. That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't even remember what I wanted to become at the age of 9. So, yeah, sometimes what you say when you're a kid, it actually does happen. You want to be that same person when you grow up, and that's what Audrey did. And unfortunately, I think she had some technical issues and she couldn't complete it with us. I just had a couple of questions, but it's a good thing that I could get whatever I wanted from her, like her overcoming this male dominant industry, especially where she's from. That was pretty good. Like, I read her article where she said, like, imagine your instructor telling you you can't fly because no, you can't land. It's difficult for you. It doesn't come naturally to you because you're a woman. So you see, aviation industry is still a very male, the male mindset, the male dominated industry. That's why it was said to her. Maybe so I really want, I want everyone who has a passion for aviation to come and enter this industry, but I really want women, girls to come and join this industry. There's a huge gap, there's a lot of place for us here. Come and try something different. Maybe we're meant to be in the skies and we're just roaming around here on the ground. So that's my take, that you should do what you love to do. And if aviation is it, definitely never stop and just go for it.
Wow, that's awesome. You were very passionate. I literally left you to be so passionate as you are, and I know it's coming from a good place. So it's terrific, and I'm glad you resonated with her. Like that was me last week, when I resonated with Els. Like
Yes, with else.
Captain Els, because his story to me was brilliant. And it's interesting. And if you missed that episode, go back to our YouTube page and you can watch it. It's there for the taking as well. And they share a similar story because they're all young. They're all the youngest in within their framework, and they both lost their parents, especially the father figure in their
Yes.
lives. And some, for some reason, they were also like the cheerleaders to them becoming who they end up becoming. And I've learned that with the correct support system, you can achieve anything. From last week I realized that this week is the same thing as well. So I'm amazed at how people can achieve a lot of things, and they were very young. Like I don't know where we're getting these young guests, but then I feel so old. I'm like, what did I do with my childhood and everything? But it's still okay. Like I'm glad I'm having an opportunity to meet young, inspiring people all over the world, doing the most, especially from an African standpoint. It's very they keep on flying the whole continent's flags and everything to the best of the best representation. So I'm glad, and she is back. So we'll allow it to come through, and then obviously
Right.
give us the closings and everything. Yes, Dre, we missed you.
I missed you guys too. I'm sorry about that. Somebody called me normal, so it just disrupted my internet.
No
No
problem.
problem, no problem. I wanted to say I'm seeing the globe. Like I see the world domination day going on, the globe thing on the side. I just had to say I've noticed it.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what you missed is we were basically now giving our takeaways from what we've learned from your story
Ah,
and you as a person as well. So Michelle, do you have anything final do you want to ask her, and she can
Yes.
go on as we wrap up the show?
Yeah. The My final question for you is, so what do you think the future holds in the aviation industry? Do you think do you think that the gender gap that's there, like still the male dominant thing, will it end with time? If not end, will the gap lessen with time? And what do you think after, like, the pandemic is slowing down, like this is our new normal? What do you think holds for the aviation industry in general?
I think it will get better because apparently every 10 years, something hits the aviation industry for it to, like shake a bit. But
Yeah.
thereafter, it gets better. So if
Yes.
somebody's thinking if they should start their dreams now or wait, I think you can start now. So by the time that it gets bigger, like you're also ready and you get moved. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. The future is bright,
Yes, it is.
and who knows? I might just. They say you're never too old for anything, unless you're determined, super exuberant, and committed. These three things. So you never know. I might just get pushed, but if not, I will still support you. And I always say that, Dre, if you're flying a flight, I'm making sure I'm getting business class. I've been telling my friends
Ah,
who are flights, I'm getting business
Definitely.
class because I'm like, I know the pilot and it's gonna
If
be dope and everything.
if I
So
ever come to Ghana and I am flying through Fashion Air, and if I hear the captain speaking and it's a female, I'll
oh,
be clapping and cheering for you at the back.
oh,
I'm
okay.
like, I know the pilot. So it's very sad now we're reaching to the closing of the show, but I'm privileged again to be having you, and I'm quite inspired as well. Inspired as well, and thank you so much for gracing us on the show.
Thank you, Isaac and Michelle.
Continuously, as Flight Wings Aviation, we go by, we inspire, equip, and we empower. So we extend the same to you. Continuously equip, empower, and inspire the people that look up to you as well. And do you want to tell people where they can follow you, your social media accounts, or anything that they can follow you on, so that they can keep up with the journey? Like there's this thing that my friend told me. I don't feel now. I feel like philosophical right now. And then she said that when you succeed as yourself, you bring success closer. People think people who succeed are like far away from all of us. But
Right.
when you succeed, you bring success closer to your friends. Like if Drake can do it, I can do it. So the same thing, continuously inspire people, bringing success closer. Now I know you, so I know that if anything I'm suffering in anything, I know that she did this and I can do it also. So
True,
it's a
true.
privilege. So definitely continue to go on, equip, inspire,
Thank
and
you.
empower. Yes. So thank you so much for our viewers for watching. And if you're going to watch this later on, thank you so much. We are Flight Wings Aviation, and you've been watching The Big Sky, where we get to explore the unlimited possibilities of aviation. So, from the Flight Wings Aviation team, it is bye from us, bye for now, and we meet you
Bye.
next week. So, bye everyone.
All right.
Bye.